Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedict, and I'm feeling curious.
I'm Brian. I'm still in the Florida Keys. Today is November 2nd, and I am feeling inspired.
And I am Benedicta. This is episode number 114, and I am feeling pretty excited.
Sweet.
Ooh, we are all pretty positive today.
What?
All in the grain. All in the well, until we've been struggling for 10 or 15 minutes for all of us to get Squadcast to work at the same time for different reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know if
but we're going to power through.
But we power through. We can do it. We can do it.
Well,
so
we can do it.
Do you want one of you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go because I'm pretty short today. I mentioned that I'm that I'm working with a dev just to get them onboarded to jtbd.app to start outsourcing some tasks and work there. Little slow going, but promising. Just getting some of the initial environment stuff set up seems like there's always hiccups along the way. This particular project, it uses R in the background to do some cluster calculations on the survey data. So just a couple of finicky little bits around that we're getting sorted out. And but I feel like after this week, then now we'll actually be able to go on to some customer facing, feature improvements and so on. So that's cool. That's good.
Nice.
And then my first day at GitLab was yesterday.
Whoop, whoop.
And very, very anticlimactic, because it's like, okay, first day at a new company, and you basically just spend all day getting permissions in order and, filling out HR paperwork. Or in this case, online forms. Yeah. And so that's what yesterday was. Today is just going to be a whole bunch of watching videos about remote first culture, handbook first processes, how to thrive at a fully remote company, which is really fascinating to me. Really, really cool. But going to be a ton of reading today. And so I think it's not even until probably later end of this week or next week before I actually start even doing, product management related paperwork and onboarding tasks. So, but yeah, so far so good. And that's that. That's that for me. How are you, Benedict?
Yeah, doing well. The launch went great. As long as you don't look at sign-up numbers, but I've been used to this. That our launches are always nice for making a splash, but it's not like people are come flocking in the very moment we launch.
Okay,
but it's so good that it's out there, and we got a lot of positive feedback. And product hunt went well. I think we made it to number 7 of the day or something like that, which cool. I feel like is a decent position for it, just a feature launch.
Totally.
So,
yeah, decent showing.
Yeah.
But can I ask just super duper quick
sure.
So it went well unless you look at signups, but so then what could you look at that makes you say it went well? Like it feels like y'all nailed the process and everything went smooth, or visits were up, or sentiment was up. Like what went well? Yeah,
so we got a lot of visits to the website. You can certainly see there's a spike in the metrics. I think we got some customers in the sense that there have been people waiting on the sidelines, watching until basically waiting for this feature to be available, and they're now signing up.
Yep.
But I don't want to attribute this to the product hunt launch or the launch in general. I feel like those these people had us on their radar even I think one of them has been following our progress for the last 2 years or so. And now they're like, now we can finally use this.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it worked, but it's not like we got any new, like, super fresh signups. So
Gotcha.
that part didn't quite work out. But as I said, like, upvotes were pretty nice. The comments we got were pretty positive. A lot of people shared it. So it was a good launch in terms of making a splash and getting in front of a lot of people. And I'm hoping that it will, like, just slowly change signups for the better over the long term, when people are looking to sign up for a tool like this and when they're thinking about migrating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
in terms of contacts,
as I said, like,
in terms of contacts per account of your existing users, is it too early to tell or to see if that number is going to increase dramatically?
Yeah, I think it's too early to tell.
Okay.
I don't think people were waiting for us to launch this and are now, like, eager to migrate. But I have a feeling that over the next couple of weeks and months, people will change their setups and maybe consolidate some of their tools. So, yeah,
okay.
We see.
Cool. Cool.
Overall, I'm not complaining.
Awesome. What else?
In other news, we started, now that we launched the marketing feature, we started our hiring efforts.
Wow.
Yesterday, we put up a job post for a customer success manager or customer success person. And I started writing a job post for our front-end developer position that we're opening up. I still have some revisions to do, but I think we're going to post it sometime this week. So, yeah, that's an exciting new journey that's about to start.
That's really big. Do you anticipate? Yeah. Do you anticipate adding both of those at around the same time, or, like, what's the timeline? I guess is what I'm asking.
I'm not entirely sure about the timeline because I have no experience whatsoever in, like, how long this is going to take. My gut feeling tells me that we're probably hiring the customer success manager pretty soon, just because the job post is already out there. Jane is actively talking to people, reviewing applications, and I'm still writing the job post for the front-end developer position. And potentially there's a little bit more screening for the developer position because I want to prepare a test assignment for them. But yeah, like, we're looking to fill both positions within the next couple of weeks. The sooner the better. But I mean, it's November, December is coming up, holiday season is about to start. Let's see how far we get with all of this. But
sure.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
That is really, really big. Congrats. Good luck.
I know Christmas always comes up so fast. The fall semester is very short.
It is. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And the last exciting thing is that last week's episode was the first one basically since we started that we didn't produce ourselves.
Yes.
So that
was great.
We now have a podcast producer.
Ooh. And let us know if you like Dan's work.
Absolutely. And if you don't like it, don't blame him, but blame me, because then I did a poor job at describing what we need. But I mean, I listened to the episode and I think it was indistinguishable from the previous one. So I think he did a great job.
Yeah, same here. I listened as well, and it just felt so great to just record, get off the call, and know that it was just going to show up magically.
Yeah, that's definitely a great one.
The power of outsourcing.
So thanks, Dan. Hope this is fun for you as well. We enjoyed a lot to not work on this anymore ourselves. So thanks for your support. And yeah, this week's episode is mostly about Benedicta. So why don't you tell us what you're up to this week? I
am working on my boot camp that is starting Saturday. the Gatsby mini bootcamp on developing and deploying your first Gatsby function. So that's what I'm doing all week and should have been doing for weeks and weeks. And I am sorry if some of the background noise comes out to the listeners, because you're saying there are some background noise. We have a parent-teacher conference coming up, so Ola has to get ready. He's trying to be as quiet as possible. I might need to get a better mic.
All good.
So I think he's starting to be done. Anyways, yeah, so I think I said last week there's 4 participants, and I still have 4 participants. I didn't really I think I was totally off internet or like Twitter and everything last week. I had a little bit of a low energy week, but I did get a lot of like admin stuff done. So I managed to transition all of the like 80 people, I think, who showed up for webinars I had this summer. I just never kind of transitioned them into my main mailing list. So I managed to do that last week so that this week they can get my sales emails for the bootcamp.
Very nice.
Yes.
Nothing
so,
like a forcing function. Yep.
Yeah. No, and it was like, and then I had to be, how is it November already? Because this was like summer functions and they were supposed to, get some follow-up in August, but then we're in November and it's like, what? But, or October when I sent it, but I got it done. And so now my list is a little over 100 people. And it seems like most of them stayed. So that's nice. They didn't like jump off immediately, and there were quite high open rates. Not that you can trust open rates that much anymore because of, Apple is blocking those kinds of tracking and stuff like that. But the numbers looked okay. And then I have to get those sales emails out this week. But tonight I am doing a webinar on testing your Gatsby functions. So that is kind of my main marketing event, I guess, to get new people in and get them in front of the bootcamp. And then on Thursday, Kyle Matthews, the founder of Gatsby, will be back on our pirate show. So I'm hoping that will draw some new people as well.
Nice.
Yeah. And then today I actually DM'd people who I've been talking to the summer functions with on Twitter. That's kind of said yes to get info. And I just followed them up today and said, hey, we're doing a smaller one and it's starting Saturday in case you're interested. And got some emoji feedback and some thanks. We'll check it out. So I don't know what to expect. I think last time most people signed up the last week. So now that I have 4, maybe I'll shoot for 8, like double this week. I'd be pretty happy with that, actually.
Remind me, how many participants did you have for the summer functions?
I think I had 3 paying. Yeah.
Okay, that's like if you get 8, then that's a good improvement.
That's a good improvement.
More than 50% growth rate, more than 100% growth rate.
Yeah, not bad at all. I remember talking the first time around, you were talking about having like an early bird pricing and that sort of thing. Did you do anything like that this time around, or what was your approach to pricing?
No, I didn't. I find these things really hard because I guess, again, I ended up not having the sales page done so far in advance. And also, I am doing this pick your own purchasing parity discount because I wanted to be able to be affordable for people all around. So you decide yourself what kind of discount you want. So having kind of like an early bird on top of that would be hard. And it's an experiment. I now have 2 full, I think actually 3 people bought it for the full price, but one was kind of early bird actually because somebody signed up for one that was supposed to be in September, then I moved it, so that was a little cheaper. But so 3 of them have paid full price and one has taken a discount. So I'm really interested, like, I don't know how to test this, but it might be hard for people, like they can see that they can choose a discount and then maybe like they don't know what discount to choose and maybe they then end up not buying because they don't want to be choosing a discount they shouldn't choose. But it's also really hard to code it so that it is dependent on your location. I mean, you can do IP addresses, you can do like geolocation, but it's also hard to like set up all of the different discounts around the globe, and should you use the Spotify index or the Big Mac index or the salary index or like what's yeah. So I ended up doing the choose your own parity discount, and we'll see how that goes.
I really liked I really like that you do this and how you do it, because as you said, like at this scale it's probably not worth investing in a proper solution or buying an add-on or whatever, but just trusting people, because ultimately you'll know when they kind of cheated, because they will be interacting with you and joining the forums and whatnot. So I think there's a very small chance that they actually misuse this. So why not just trust people and let them switch, let them choose the coupon code they think is most appropriate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
That probably.
I like it. I like.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I like it. I do, because at least this summer, at least one of them got like a cheaper price, and I really enjoyed having. Not having just kind of like a European American centric group. I found I just thought that was like exciting for me, having people in countries that I'll maybe never visit even, but just having friends around the globe. It feels like friends now, at least. That showed up and were active and really wanted to learn. And it's like feels like the old. I think we spoke about this a couple of months ago. It's like the old internet again, where you kind of get friends all over the globe now, and not thinking about kind of where they're located. You just become friends over common interests, and I really find that gives me energy. So I realized this week I started adding the 4 participants to our kind of HQ, which is a GitHub repository, where we have our forum, and I'll have the assignment and the sample code and all that stuff. And we started interacting, and that like gives me a lot of energy again. And I had, like, as I said, a little bit of a low energy weeks, or not just last week, but a couple of weeks. And I realized like maybe I shouldn't have I should have done it earlier, to kind of interacting with the people who are interested in buying and interested in joining, because that kind of gave me an energy boost as soon as that happened. And that's also why I've been doing kind of Queen Ray training stuff, is to be able to interact with people and not just, sit alone with my SaaS and not kind of have that type of community. So that guy gave me a little reminder that I will have to do these quite not frequent, but like with shorter distance between them. Now that they're just a week, I think I can do them like on a rolling schedule when I have this more set, when I know that the format works. So that's a note to myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's really interesting and cool to, notice the impact of getting that community, to get that cohort, spun up, so to speak. I think that what that makes me think of, Benedicta, is I love the policy of the price parity, and the way you're going about it. I suppose, like, what's one downside, or what's one trade-off of doing that, which is the thing of not being able to easily test pricing or early bird pricing or something like that. So I wonder if then, like, because if what you try to do with early bird pricing is to create a sense of urgency, then what's the other benefit that you could put into place, other than price? And maybe that's like some sort of, I don't know, coffee chat, or getting to know everyone in the 2 weeks before, it kicks off. So there's some other, non-monetary but tangible benefit of, sign up now and you'll get early access to the cohort so that you can join the bonus webinar or something with Benedicta in advance. I don't know. Does that make sense?
That was a great idea, because I thought about like what kind of bonuses could I give, like an early bird bonus, like, oh, you can get like an hour pair programming with me or something like that. But then the prices would have had to be much higher.
Right.
But something like that, because definitely the people who are already signed up, like they will have some time in the forum to get to know each other. And I could already do this. I could set up a little bit of a coffee thing happening on Friday even, before on Saturdays, like when the assignment goes out. So that is definitely something to think about. I like that idea a lot. I'll have that in the back of my mind, because the plan was, and what I promised my business coach, Jonathan Stark, was to do 3 of these before Christmas. And I only managed to get the kind of sales page out for one of them. So I'm hoping to get, now that everything is working for the first one, it's going to be a lot easier for me, I think, to write and get out the second and third one, which will be, so this first one is called deploy or develop and deploy your first serverless function. And then learning that through Gatsby functions. And then the next one will be authentication, i.e. login with the Gatsby, login with GitHub using Gatsby functions. And then there will be custom payment flow with Stripe and Gatsby functions, the third one. So I could implement some of those ideas for those. And I think it's good if I have all 3 out now that I'm talking about the first one, because then maybe, then people have options when it comes to timing and also the topic, because I think this one, the first one, is pretty it's for people who haven't done any kind of serverless, but for the authentication and the payment one, you can be more experienced and still get a lot out of those 2 bootcamps.
I like that as like building blocks course in a way. So in theory, people could just skip the first one if they feel like they know the basics, but are super interested in how to do auth, and they could just sign up for that one.
Yeah, they will build on each other. So because the plan is then we do time travel. So this is Ola, my partner. He made a story about time traveling, and that's what we use as the basis for kind of most of our demos. So we create a time ship, and in the first one, you're just allowed to travel, right? And we'll just save whatever travel data that you put into a backend, to some backend service. But then, like on top of that, then you can then have authentication. So you need to be authenticated to travel, and then with payment, you need to be authenticated or you need to pay to travel. And then if you want to, you can combine the 2 and be both authenticated and pay and take payments to travel. So they kind of all fit together. So if you want to do all 3 after each other, then you will learn quite a lot, and kind of have, after those 3, you'll have a little mini app, right? That where you can authenticate people and charge money for them to do time travel. And then obviously you don't need that, but that can then be, a comment system. It could be, buying a course. It could be, all kinds of things that you can make with those 3 building blocks.
But you're still selling the other packages to people who didn't apply for the first one?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes.
So they get like a almost done application to start with at the beginning of the second bootcamp, I guess.
Yes. So if you just go for the authentication one, you will kind of get, for all 3, you get starter files, and then we build what we need in the bootcamp to get kind of that functionality. Because the funny thing is, if you do payment, you don't really need another third-party system to save things to, because you can save all of the travel data onto the Stripe checkout session. So then you don't need the backend that we're making in the first one. if you don't want the log, though, I mean, you might want to have the log. But anyway, these, they fit together, and hopefully people will buy more than one in the future, at least. Nice. When I don't know, it just takes so much more time than I think to like create these sales pages and set up all the emails and like funnel people in. But now I feel really good with these bootcamps. I think I can just do the same 3 in like February if I want to, or January, and have everything set up. And I can spend a lot more time on kind of the marketing and the sales of the bootcamps than trying to figure out how to write about them and set everything up.
How did you come up with the pricing for for this particular mini boot camp, I remember the summer functions were quite a bit more expensive. Is this basically just a result of you splitting it in more or less 3 chunks and then charging a third for each of them, or is there some other thinking involved with the new pricing?
Basically that. No, it feels like because now they're just a week, and it's kind of, so this summer we did 5 challenges, and these are the 3 kind of best challenges, and then put together so they can work together. And it felt like a good price. I think pricing is super hard. I realized that the most important for me is just to set a price and just go out there and sell it. Just
go for it.
Otherwise I think so much, and then see, that's what happened. Like, I've been thinking too much, and then I didn't make the sales page, and then like you think too much, and then you don't do anything. So for me, it's very good to have these deadlines, which like, well, I promised that I should get something out, and I often end up a little too close to the deadline. But as I said, then at least now I have it, and then for the next time around, I'll hopefully have some more time for the, sales and marketing, and maybe a totally different price. I don't know. Like, it could be fun to do these like once a quarter and then just change up the price a little bit, see what happens.
Probably a good experiment. But I was wondering if I kind of answered the question already, but I was wondering if there was something related to just lowering the bar and making an easier purchase decision by just having a lower price, but that sounds like it didn't really play into this.
I think both kind of the lower price and the lower time commitment kind of together lowers the bar.
Yeah.
So you don't have to kind of sign up for all 3. You can sign up for 1 or 2 or 3, and then it's a week and not like for a longer period of time. So either you can do it that week or you can't, right? But for the summer functions, which was 5 weeks, you kind of had to set, and since the price then was high, you kind of had to know that you would be able to do all 5 weeks.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, and obviously, like in some future, I want to do some kind of non-cohort based version of these things so that I can have rolling sales, but I don't think that's as much fun for me and the participants. But we'll see how I need to like widen my ladder, I guess.
Yeah.
Heightening,
stretching. Right. Yeah.
What's the word?
Yeah. Growing?
Growing?
Putting your ladder on stilts. That seems really unsafe. It does seem like you're like completely setting yourself up to have so many options for how to bundle the course, the mini boot camps together, or having that lower bar, gets them into the first one. And, oh yeah, wow, this is really this is not like the other boot camps I've tried. This is entertaining, and I really like Benedicta's style. And then they're as likely to go ahead and purchase number 2 and 3, which equals the revenue that you would have gotten if they had made like the big purchase. But probably has lower conversions because it's a bigger commitment. I don't know. It just seems like it's really inspiring. Is all I'm trying to say is like it seems like you're getting some blocks together that's going to give you all sorts of options.
I hope so, because this is like very much of a long-term bet, I guess, for me, because as I can see, it's not like a big money maker right now.
Right.
But I enjoy almost every aspect of it, which is interesting or surprising, which makes me think that I can do this for a long time.
Yes. Yeah. That's always a good sign. You mentioned that you feel like in February you could just redo all 3 of these. How many individual different mini camps or mini courses could you envision? Do you think, no, I'm just going to stick with 3 for the next 3 or 4 months and let's see how this plays out? Or You know what? It would be, now that I see that this is working and it's fun, what if I just commit to one new one every 6 weeks while you're, just redoing the ones that you've already got built? Like, how are you imagining that, thinking through how many of these you might end up having?
I know that I want to do one on Gatsby version 4 because there's some super new interesting stuff out. I kind of just wanted to jump on that, but I was like, okay, now I have this function stuff working for me. Let's not just jump off that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I might do like a Christmas one or just like in the new year, I'll do one because I really like the infrastructure, as you said, like with using a GitHub repository as kind of the headquarters. And I think that I kind of validated that works. So then making even like this version 4 thing, which will be kind of a new topic, I can still like reuse a lot of the stuff that I have. And also I'm thinking about like making a video on how to get started, like checking out the code, how to do PRs and stuff like that. And those can be applied to all of the bootcamps. But back to your question, I'm not completely sure. Because these 3 are kind of the Gatsby functions. And I think they demonstrate kind of a complete, like when you know these 3 things, you could make pretty much anything after these kind of 3 bootcamps. You just change out the different services and the different authentication providers or payment services. But like a lot of the key concepts have been covered if you do those 3 camps. So then the next one would probably be to make mini camps that I've been toying with an idea like like more than blogging with Gatsby or like web apps with Gatsby or full stack Gatsby or I don't know, something where like you've done their kind of blog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you would be a person who'd done their kind of tutorial where you create a blog. Which is like, if you just need a blog, go get a blogging software, right? But that's a good way to start learning. But then my thinking is like, have boot camps that will like build on top of their kind of default tutorial so that we have that kind of as a base, but then like, oh, hey, let's build like a little membership section or let's build it more towards a to-do app but I haven't nailed like what those blocks could be that I could do in a week and have like mini camps. But I think definitely both for me and the participant, I like this like shorter 1 week format and then you could just string them together like we talked about instead of making it one big course. So it's like a mix between Egghead, which like has 2-minute videos on that like one thing you need, and these like major courses from like Westboss that it's like I don't know how many hours, and
and
are very
overwhelming.
Yeah. So it's cool. Gonna be in between those. But yeah, so I'm thinking about making more, but I want to kind of nail these and also try to sell them a couple of times instead of like jumping to new stuff all the time, which is like my MO. that's like what I'm trying.
That's smart. That sounds smart.
And then just make them better and better and have more and more reusable content that I could use for new camps or so not everything has to be new every time I do it.
Cool.
But
how is
but there's
No, I was just gonna ask, like, how is the coaching with Jonathan Stark going? You mentioned that a second ago. What are you? How is that?
Well, I'm talking to him tomorrow, so now I just like, wait, I haven't done all my things, which is definitely good for me because then I'll be doing them today and tomorrow. No, I really like it, but I feel like for kind of the Queen Reg training stuff, it's mostly been interesting that like he said, well, like you can make a business out of this, because I was like, well, this is fun and easy, like that's not work. And he's like, well, a lot of people make money off of training businesses, so you can make a training business if you want to have a training business. And I kind of needed, weirdly enough, somebody outside of myself to like validate that is an option.
Yep.
Yeah. And then maybe I'm working a little slower than I had kind of hoped for myself, and also what I've done in the past. But I'm like making peace with that because there's so much stuff happening at home and like family stuff. So I'm just like going to be happy that I keep on moving forward. But then also he has been very helpful. We've done so Queen Ray is kind of the very loud brand, I guess, Gatsby brand that we have, where it's like focusing on training and edutainment, I guess, like educational entertainment. But then we're also trying to build up, and we talked about this a couple of months ago, where I said I wanted to make like plugin as a service or demos as a service for folks that for services that would like to integrate with Gatsby. And I started working through that with Stark, and it clearly became like that was like it's doable, but it's hard to like find those customers, because then it would be kind of the marketing, or it wouldn't be the developers in these. So you say Calendly wanted a plugin that like a native Gatsby plugin. I wouldn't be speaking to developers there. I would have to like speak to somebody further up the chain. So we've kind of pivoted that idea a little bit to do maintenance and support for Gatsby sites. And especially for marketing pages, like folks that have product teams and then they have marketing pages in Gatsby. So they do have developers, but the developers should be focusing on the product and not the marketing site. So he has been like very helpful there in both kind of looking at that opportunity, but also helping us with proposals, because I have a really hard time writing proposals, especially like in an American way. So, we've gotten a lot of help on that. So we have a proposal out now. I don't think we'll get it, but it's a very good like practice run.
Nice.
So that's kind of like the board. So it's fun. It's like Queen Ray is like so much fun. And then on this like maintenance and support, I think our tagline, we were joking, could be like, we'll do the boring parts or something.
Yes.
Right. Somebody else, an agency has made all the like crazy like branding and everything, but then 3 months later something breaks. You just need somebody who just like fixes it and who has that skill and will do it right. So so that's our kind of other foot in the Gatsby world.
Would you enjoy that? I mean, you're joking about we'll do the boring stuff. Would if that business were successful, would that be fun for you to run a company who maintains marketing sites built on top of Gatsby?
That is a good question. I think right now I'm just really enjoying coding anything that has to do with Gatsby, because I can funnel it back to the training.
Yes.
But also my partner Ulla, who is more junior than me in development, like he really enjoys those parts. So my job would be to do more of the advanced stuff. If there's like, he would do all of what I would consider boring, but he still thinks is interesting. And then if there are some like more advanced bugs or advanced features, then I could come in and do more of that advanced stuff. So I think that would work. I wouldn't necessarily go after that kind of ID on my own, but it will be kind of it will be kind of his company, or not his. It will be our company, but like he will be more in charge of the
primary
that part, and then I will do more of the Queen stuff. But hopefully, the Queen stuff will then market, or like people will then trust that we are good Gatsby people.
Yeah.
Cool. If that. Yeah. But all of this, I know I've done these things before. It's like in a year's time, we'll see if this is working or not. Things just take so long.
They do.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you have a lot of things going on right now. And I'm wondering, what's the end goal? Like, talking about a year from now, where do you see yourself, or where do you want to go with all of this?
Hopefully the training and the kind of maintenance company, I don't know what to call it yet even, will make enough to live off as a family.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the goal.
And do you feel like it has to be both, or is like the ideal outcome that you're just making enough money just by the training aspect or just by the maintenance aspect? or does it have to be both?
I think maybe it has to be both, so that we kind of have that I kind of have the training, and then Ola has the maintenance. So we kind of have one focus each. But it doesn't have to be kind of the maintenance. But now my computer is like shutting down. I don't know.
We can still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like blacking out. I don't know what's happening. Okay. I think maybe we need two kind of related but separate businesses, if that makes sense. Because especially with the Queen Ray stuff, it's like, I mean, it's very much my face on it, and it's harder to kind of participate in that. So I think we need, so if it's going to be maintenance, or if it might be demos and plugins as a service, like if that comes back up when if Gatsby takes off, that could become like a bigger need. But I don't know, like if we make millions of training, we probably don't. I guess I'm hedging a little bit.
And you didn't mention POW in that combination. Like, what about POW?
What about POW? No, so my hope is that we'll make enough money out of the Gatsby Authorities business that will have then several legs to free up some of my time so that I can work more on POW. Because I don't know, I had really hard times with having that as like the primary possible income.
Yep.
And I don't know why exactly. Maybe I need to like talk it out with a shrink. There was just something, I don't know. There's something there where when it became like a money-making thing, I wanted to be I want that to be the side business or side hustle or hobby.
You want POW to be the side hobby.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
And then again, if that suddenly like takes off and I'm not gonna not say no to money, but no, I want that more to be. I want to make it because I need it. I want to make it for my friends. I want to make it for the people. Yeah, I don't want to have to think about like having to go mainstream or having to go. And also, as I think we spoke about that, I like identity wise, I didn't want to be like the menstrual lady.
Gotcha.
I want to be the developer.
Okay. Well, so this is okay. This feels to me, and maybe I just like missed it or misread it along the way, that this feels like a new thing for you to say definitively. That what it sounds like you're saying is that you are more interested in building an entertaining, fun training company than you are interested in building a SaaS.
It might seem that way.
Okay.
But we all want a successful SaaS, don't we?
We do. Well, we want stable recurring revenue.
Exactly.
Okay. And so if that is actually what we want, then maybe that does sort of free you up to think about your Gatsby content in a certain way, or the training company in a certain way.
Yeah, you're saying I focus on that for that recurring revenue.
Yeah.
I think so, and I find that as I said, like a lot. I like the activities more than I do with the SaaS.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed like figuring out that it was possible to make. And I did it. And then I'm not as, I find that like, yeah, I think we talked about that before, that I found out that I'm not that like passionately concerned, or at least I don't want to spend most of my time researching like women's health and and hormones and menstrual cycles
Okay.
and that part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm still
Yeah.
looking like in the back of my mind to like find that person. And we've spoken that might be my friend who's
Yeah.
moving, but now she's not allowed into Australia, so she's not moving. And there's lots of stuff going on, so I'm holding off on that until she knows where she will be living. But yeah, I think like if I had found the right person who could do a lot of that part, then I would be more motivated again to also do the coding, because then I would know that it would like come out to people and it would be the right thing to make, like, and not everything was on me, kind of, to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I hope this is interesting to
Cool.
other people. Like, and now I feel like I'm going to lay back on my like shrink couch and be like,
No, I'm sure it is. I mean, what we hear from people is that, as a matter of fact, that's exactly what is interesting about it all.
But it's
Cool.
weird. Like, you need to test out different things to like figure out what I think it's very hard to know until you try. Like with the SaaS, like, yeah, I really want the SaaS, and I still kind of, as you said, want the outcome of a SaaS, and I still want to say like I have a successful SaaS, but identity wise, like I couldn't kind of shed with being a developer, and then with the training I can like stay, or with the Gatsby Authority I can stay a developer, and then I can do a lot of fun things within that kind of identity. Yeah, because I noticed very fast when I started working with POW, like every party you go to or you meet people or the news are interested, you know, they're not interested so much in the tech. Like they want to talk cycles and women's health and all of those things that I think is important, and somebody should do stuff about it. But I realized that like I don't want to dedicate my time to
That's
like
not your
raising
passion.
the awareness for different things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about at time, or we are at time. But I think we could give an entire episode to your statement of, I want to be able to say that I have a successful SaaS.
Yep.
Because I mean, I think we all would. We want to say that. We want to say that sentence, and I think that's a whole episode on why.
It's like, is having your own SaaS
Why?
the new, like, I was in a band, or I want a band?
I mean,
I want to be a rock band.
I think it's a.
I guess it's in the developer
definite
community. I feel like
symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying something,
Yeah.
because that might have been. Yeah, because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to kind of become. I don't know. It's hard to say this without like sounding. I'm very comfortable with like what Queen Ray is doing now with the training and the streams. But I'm very conscious. I don't want it to like land. I don't want it to tip over into kind of like influencer land, where like I end up creating a lot of content for other people and get paid for kind of the content, and then I end up like being a blurry line on, oh, does Benedicto like this, or is he just like paid to like this? With Gatsby it's a little bit different, because I've chosen Gatsby, and it's like yeah, no, I'm not gonna stop with Gatsby right now anyway. But like I don't want to be I don't want to like go over into the kind of that like influencer side of content making. I want to like stay on the training side of content making, I think.
Yeah. Which you can totally do. I mean, knowing that you're the master of your own destiny in that sense, you know. I mean, if you know where you want to go, where you don't.
But it's hard to stay that to know and like to stay the track, because already now it's like, well, I could probably get Gatsby to, you know, sponsor or pay for the streams if I say that I'm going to stop doing them if they don't pay me. Like I could kind of maybe approach them for some kind of collab like that, or other companies. And people are suggesting it already, and then I'm like, well,
but you're
just
worried,
being stubborn, or is this actually important to me? Yeah, those are the hard questions, right?
Well, you don't have to answer them right away, but I mean, but goodness, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a sponsorship for, something that you already appreciate, and it helps support you to continue to do the work, and you're not agreeing to it for forever. If it ever puts you in a position that you're not comfortable with, hopefully by then you've built up, these other streams of revenue that give you that freedom that we're looking for.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like with sponsorships, I think the key part is just being upfront about it.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, this is sponsored by whatever. So
I'm legally bound.
Of this. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. Yeah. But that makes it obvious, and then people take whatever you say or whatever you show with a little bit of grain of salt. And I mean, you're not talking to stupid people. I mean, they know how this works. So
yeah. I don't know. I've just become very, I don't want to like name anyone, but I've become very wary. I've been in the game, very long, and I've seen some of the people I still I have a lot of respect for what they've done, but I also noticed that I've stopped believing when they are excited about things, because I've seen like in that specific video, they're not like sponsored, but then they might have another thing like a podcast or a blog post or something where you see they have been sponsored by that company. And then you're like, okay, you weren't sponsored officially in this video, but you have been sponsored by them in the past. Like, will you ever kind of say anything bad about them when you kind of know that some future money might be coming from there? And then also it's the same thing with affiliate marketing, right? There are so many, I've bought some courses where it's like, this is not good or books. And then people have been like really talking them up. And then afterwards you realize, oh, this SaaS or book or course or tech has a really good affiliate program. And I feel so cheated. Because I like to trust people. And then, so I don't know, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, gotten old and cynical.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but I guess we have to wrap up.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, let's wrap up, but we can keep talking about this, about that question next week, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sound good?
And raise your hand
Sounds
on
good.
Twitter, everyone who wants to say they have a successful, who wants to say they have a successful SaaS.
Yeah.
Yep.
That will be everyone.
Yep.
All right.
Well done. Have a nice week, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.